Whenever I talk about Kaspa, I always have to remind myself that this coin isn't even listed on Binance yet. This is something that I always just seem to forget about for whatever reason or another. I feel like Kaspa just should be listed on Binance at this point. Why? I'm not exactly sure, but I do always find it a little bit interesting that we have not actually seen that happen. But we've started to see some moves kind of coming through the market recently that may indicate that we might actually be seeing some Binance news listing, all that type of stuff coming here relatively soon. When exactly, we don't know for sure, but I want to talk a little bit about that and go on into that. So anyway, if we take a quick look at the crypto bubbles, we can see Kaspa actually one of the ones leading the market today. Looking obviously pretty nice for the year, not so nice. Month also not so nice. Week also not so nice, but on the day, things are looking pretty good, which is good to see. If we do actually go take a look at the Kaspa chart itself, and let's actually pull this into full screen, we can see basically for like a little bit over a year, not really a whole lot going on in terms of price action. We can see that the very bottom, who knows if this is the bottom, but at least the most recent bottom that we have seen, this is actually getting quite close to kind of some of the consolidation we were seeing prior to this Kaspa breakout that we saw back in about November of 2023. Again, this was like, the very, very early days of the bull market, which was when we started to see this. I would even say to an extent that Kaspa maybe even kind of front ran the bull market, maybe even kind of doing a little bit of like what Solana did. I would say Solana and Kaspa were probably the first ones up, and then we started to see kind of a lot of other things following that, which is a little unusual because generally Bitcoin is the one that leads the way up. But I guess all of this to say, obviously, we did see this was not like the top, but most of the gains were kind of had at this point. We did see a little bit of consolidation and then kind of that another jump up here, reaching the ultimate top up here kind of in August. All of this to say that kind of basically from like the first half up until about the 1st of August, this was a really nice time to own Kaspa because it was more or less kind of going up most of the time. Obviously, we saw some kind of pullbacks here and some pullbacks here, but overall, it was kind of mostly in an uptrend. Since then, we have seen Kaspa mostly in a downtrend since then, continuing to make lower lows and lower highs all the way through. If we do look particularly recently, we get from, let's see, like the 6th of February onward, we've basically been between like oversold to like just below neutral kind of this whole time. So obviously the Kaspa price movement not being particularly super encouraging recently. We could see price back down here at 6 cents, where we did see topping over 20 cents at this point back in 2024. So obviously, we have basically given back most of the gains that we have seen thus far in the bull market so far. Again, who knows for sure, what the future holds and kind of how that looks. But this has kind of been a common theme for a lot of altcoins, many of them giving back basically all of the gains that we have seen in previous bull or in this whole bull market that we did see in 2024 and even in late 2023. So overall, I do think that we might actually be seeing things turn around a little bit. We have a couple of different things that I wanted to show you guys and talk about specifically today. But if you are interested in trading, I do have that link in the description below to BTCC, and they are doing that 10% bonus on first-time deposits. A really, really good deal if you are looking for a new place to trade. Extra bonuses up to $10,055 per user, as well as no VPN or KYC necessary. They do allow spot and leverage trading. I will say if you are looking to trade leverage, you just need to be careful. Leverage trading is not for beginners. I would say if you are a beginner, probably stick to spot trading. It's a lot harder to lose that way. So that would kind of be my I guess suggestion to you. But obviously, nothing that I say on here is financial advice. This is all just kind of my opinion, my thoughts on the market, and just things that I've kind of seen and done in the past. Obviously, you are more than welcome to do kind of whatever you'd like, but that's just kind of what I've seen works best in the past for me and some of the others that I've been able to watch through. But like I said, got the links in the below if you are looking to trade, leverage trade, any of that type of stuff. Now, the first thing I want to go over here is we have the testnet 10 of Kaspa with going 10 blocks per second. We can see this is actually pretty neat here. Look at the speed at which it's generating more blocks. We've seen actually a lot of some of these things kind of visualized out in video, which is pretty neat. The whole the whole DAG system is really, really cool. And I think this is pretty interesting in terms of how a lot of these kind of work, and also the speed at which these things are putting out blocks. If we go back, I think there's actually a couple here along the timeline where we can see some pretty quick. Yeah, here's another one. We can see kind of a more more kind of just like points and dots type of DAG system. I mean, this is also really, really interesting. I think this is technically kind of like the command line type of version here. So, I mean, really, really cool to see all of this kind of happening in real time. And then obviously, you know, we could get to the point where I think they're looking to do 50, 100, 250, 500 blocks per second, a lot of this crazy stuff. And this does kind of technically, in a sense, allow for infinite scalability to a degree, right? Obviously, you know, there's infinite anything isn't always really the case, but we can see that this is something where, you know, pretty impressive to kind of see the speed at which this moves along. Obviously, the video quality doesn't seem to be too great here, but pretty impressive stuff. So before we go on and continue to the next interesting piece of news that we could be seeing here coming along pretty soon, I did want to tell you guys about the Discord community that I have recently opened up. If you guys are interested in kind of interacting with me on a little more kind of like small scale, one-to-one interactive type of basis, feel free to look at the link in the description below to Patreon. Go get signed up. Once you're signed up, it should allow you to connect your Discord to the server that I have created. And then you can go on, you can come say hi to me, as well as some of the other people that are kind of part of the community. There's a lot of really, really great people in there. I do appreciate everybody that is joining. Obviously, I did just start this very, very recently, so there's only a couple of us in there so far, but I am hoping that I can kind of grow this into a community that's a bunch of really interesting people who are very committed and very dedicated to growing long-term crypto success, all that type of stuff, and want to see essentially crypto win. And so that's mainly what I'm focused on right now. So far, if you have any questions that you want more kind of one-on-one interaction, that type of stuff with me, it's all in there. It is $2 a month, I believe, and this is essentially just so to keep the bots out. I was going to do a free server, but I've just seen that usually when that happens, there's a lot of spam and bots, and it's something that I didn't really want to have to deal with or kind of have to, kind of have the like security issue in the back of my mind. So that's something where I just figured I'd put a hopefully fairly nominal price on it to kind of keep some of that out of there, and we'll kind of see how that goes. So anyway, like I said, links all in the description below if you are wanting to join my community and kind of be a part of that. So the next thing that I did want to go over here is we can see that Mr. Kaspa has been talking about this wallet that we've been tracking for quite a while here, and we can see that this wallet is the second largest holder of Kaspa. It's probably an institutional wallet. We don't know for sure, but there's a lot of speculation that this could be the Binance wallet. We can see holding just over 630 million Kaspa. Obviously not a small sum. This is a very, very large amount. And we can see that they're continuously accumulating, particularly in this bear market, or whatever market this is. We could see that they've picked up over 50 million Kaspa in the span of the past about 10 days. So definitely a bunch of accumulation going on here. We could see, Mr. Kaspa is expecting a spot listing Q2 of this year, just after the 10 blocks per second upgrade. We'll have to see for sure. But this is something that I do think could be very interesting. It's a little bit surprising to me that we have not seen a Binance listing yet. Generally, with these type of truly decentralized projects that aren't VC funded, the listing fee is usually very, very steep to get on an exchange like Binance. And so with a lot of these truly decentralized projects, there's no real person or one single individual to pay for that listing fee. So generally, these exchanges have to kind of stack up their own amounts of that coin, and they're not going to just buy the peaks and buy the tops. They're going to be patient, and they're going to wait for a lot of this type of stuff to just kind of wait, and they'll bide their time, a lot of that type of stuff. And that could be exactly what we are seeing here. Again, this is all speculation. This could just be at the wallet of somebody who is just a Kaspa whale, and they've got a whole bunch of money that they're looking to pull into Kaspa, but typically holding over 630 million. If we do just a super quick calculation, give me 1 second, we can see 630 million times, we'll just say, what are we at, 6.6 cents. that is $41.5 million. So this either has to be somebody who's very, very well off and a complete Kaspa maxi, or it's more likely an institution and a large institution at that. So I do think something like Binance does make sense. And then we kind of get down to the speculation of, well, when listing, right? I mean, and it's very, very hard to say for sure when exactly that could be. Potentially Q2, I think sounds, given that the fact that as of the time of this recording, it's March 11th, I think that could be pretty likely or pretty possible. So anyway, that's kind of a little bit of what we're seeing here. I think this is really, really good news from Kaspa overall. I do think kind of timing a listing with this 10 block per second upgrade does make a lot of sense, because there is going to kind of be that interest, that hype, a lot of that type of stuff to potentially spike trading volume. Again, exchanges don't really necessarily care about price appreciation. They care about trading volume, because that's how they make their fees. So I think having kind of timing this listing with some type of bullish news or catalyst like that will spike trading fees, spike trading volume, all that type of good stuff. And that is really what these exchanges are wanting. So anyway, that's kind of how things are looking in my mind from Kaspa recently. I do think Kaspa is still looking good from a fundamental perspective. A lot of what we're seeing from a price perspective, I think, is just people getting bored, if I'm being completely honest. We haven't really seen too much bullish catalysts, or too many bullish catalysts, I guess I should say. And that's because people are building stuff, right? I mean, stuff does not happen overnight. Progress, good progress, and real progress at least, is usually slow, and it just doesn't all come at once. And so the fact that we're having to wait for some of this stuff, obviously, some of the more impatient people have likely left and are moved on to the next shiny object of the moment. And that's just not generally how investing goes. There's a quote that I think is in large part kind of correct on this, which is, investing is kind of the process of transferring money from the impatient to the patient. And I do think that there's probably a level of that. Again, going back to price action, we don't exactly know when for sure we will see this price action start to move again. If ever, again, it's crypto. We can never know for sure. I do have very strong conviction that we will probably see more out of Kaspa. But first off, we need to see the macro situation fix itself and kind of do a little bit better there. And then after that, probably seeing some level of bullish news, bullish sentiment, a lot of that type of stuff, I do think is going to be important. So anyway, hopefully you found the information in this video useful. If you did, a like and a subscribe really, really does help. Obviously, it continues to kind of push me further into the YouTube algorithm, which of course I really do appreciate. That is kind of the name of the game here. So I would very much appreciate that. Also, if you have any comments, thoughts, questions, feelings, things like that, just drop those in the comment section. I do read and respond to all of those. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.